Hello, and welcome to the launch of the next round of the Cleveland Black Futures Fund. The Cleveland Black Futures Fund was born out of the murder of George Floyd, a recognition that we need to address systemic racism, and the very clear evidence of disparities existing today, even in the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, we are going to journey through where and why the Black Futures Fund started, what it is, who is eligible to apply for the fund, and how applicants would be supported through the process. Thank you for your interest in the Black Futures Fund. To ground us in some of the reasoning for why the Cleveland Black Futures Fund exists, the first is the simple fact that systemic racism exists. Side by side on this slide, you see a redlining map from the 1940s. Redlining being the practice of the Federal Homeowners Association denying mortgage loans for homeowners who lived in particular neighborhoods, often neighborhoods with high concentrations of people of color, especially Black people. And unfortunately, how neatly that lines up with this map on the right, where we see the shortened life expectancies of people who live in neighborhoods that were redlined in the 1940s. What we can honestly say is that no one just chose to live in neighborhoods with shortened life expectancies, but rather it was policies that most residents had nothing to do with that predetermined decades ago life outcomes that people are still dealing with today. And this is where the Black Futures Fund is starting. It takes more than the work of one fund to change this reality, but if we are not grounded in the fact that it is real, we won't get anywhere. The other thing that has happened that is important to acknowledge is the disproportionately devastating impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the Black community locally. This is what spurred a lot of organizations in 2020 to make commitments to doing better for the Black community. And the Cleveland Black Futures Fund was part of the Cleveland Foundation's commitment. However, the Black Futures Fund started to be long-term and not merely limited to COVID-19 response. The fact is, philanthropy as a system has been inequitable for a number of decades, and as a participant in the system, it is incumbent upon the Cleveland Foundation to think about how to be more equitable in operations. The Cleveland Black Futures Fund was launched in late 2020 with the overarching goal to strengthen the ecosystem of Black leaders and Black servant organizations in Greater Cleveland by providing intentional resources to help grow organizational infrastructure and capacity. The foundation seeks to provide intentional resources, not accidental, to create stronger, better, and deeper relationships with Black leaders and Black-led organizations to provide them with the resources that they need. We know across philanthropy that Black-led nonprofits often receive more programmatic funding than infrastructure and capacity funding. With that being a limitation, the point of the Cleveland Black Futures Fund is to address this limitation. We want to thank the people that have contributed to the fund. They are listed here. Without the contributions of the people and organizations on this list, the fund would not have grown the way it has. Thank you to the donors. We want you to know who they are and their role in the equation of creating a better community. This fund also has a community advisory committee. This is a group of people who meet together to create a framework for how the Cleveland Black Futures Fund operates. This is a representation from a variety of industries and sectors. This round includes two main types of grants. Applicants can apply for one or both. During this round, the Cleveland Black Futures Fund will award monetary grant awards in one of the following categories: $15,000, $25,000, $50,000, $75,000, or $100,000. During round 3, the Cleveland Black Futures Fund is expected to award a total of $1 million in monetary grants. In addition to the Cleveland Black Futures Fund, will also be awarding 40 to 60 organizations a capacity building fellowship that covers participation and a stipend. The purpose of this is to provide cohort-based learning opportunities and be coached to help grow in a particular capacity. Capacity building fellowships will be offered each round of the Cleveland Black Futures Fund. The cohort topics are determined by an analysis of the capacity building needs of previous applicants. Capacity building fellows will be provided a small stipend to offset the cost of participating in the fellowship. Up to 12 organizations will be selected to participate in each cohort. You are encouraged to think carefully about what your organization needs and target your request accordingly. The Cleveland Foundation is looking for organizations that are led by a Black person and the organizations that are serving Black communities. The Cleveland Foundation is looking for organizations who have an operating budget of less than $1 million. The Cleveland Foundation learned from the first round of the Black Futures Fund that there is a greater need among organizations with a budget of less than $1 million. The Cleveland Foundation is still looking for organizations who serve within the 3-county footprint of the Cleveland Foundation: Cuyahoga, Lake, and Geauga counties. These are the counties the Cleveland Foundation is restricted to providing support to. Also, eligibility is restricted to 501c3 organizations. The Cleveland Foundation can only provide grants to organizations with this nonprofit status. If you do not have a 501c3, you can partner with the 501c3 and they can serve as your fiscal agent for your application. Also, in order to be eligible, you must not have received a grant from the Cleveland Black Futures Fund this calendar year. Both monetary and fellowship grantees from round 2 awarded earlier in 2022 are not eligible to reapply until 2023. Applications will be accepted from a wide range of issue areas. Nonprofit organizations seeking to apply for funding from the Cleveland Black Futures Fund can get more information about the grant opportunity and download an applicant guide from the website. Interested applicants are invited to attend a technical assistance workshop and take advantage of the one-on-one grant writing assistance, which you become eligible for after attending a technical assistance workshop. After you've attended a TA session, gotten grant writing assistance, and submitted your application will go through a review process along with all other applicants. The grant review process will occur in 3 steps. Screening. Applicants will be screened for eligibility and application completion. Applications who are eligible with completed applications will advance to initial review. Applicants who do not advance to initial review will be notified. Initial review. During initial review, applications will be sorted and assigned to review teams by issue area, and review teams will use a scoring rubric to score applications. Review team members are made up of a combination of foundation staff, other grant-making professionals, community partners, and advisory committee members. Applicants can see a copy of the rubric used during this phase in the applicant guide. Finalist round. The top scoring applicants across the different issue areas will be selected for finalists, and review team members will select which organizations will receive grants and fellowships based on a deeper review of the applications. Applicants who do not advance to the final round will be notified. Final grant decisions will be communicated to applicants. Another thing to keep in mind, this grant is targeting organizational capacity, not specific project or program support. Let this wonderful definition from candid.org be the heart of your organization. Capacity building can help make an organization more focused, efficient, and productive. And this makes it easier to attract the money, leadership, and visibility that nonprofits need to thrive. These things include marketing, staff salaries, legal services, all those things that keep the programming running. These are the things the Cleveland Foundation is interested in funding, because we know the vast majority of grants that go to Black-led nonprofits go toward things other than this. We know the things that capacity building, those things that really make organizations strong and resilient and sustainable, are things that Black-led organizations receive less funding for. Our goal with this fund is to remediate that disparity and provide funding for these things. To access the application, you will navigate to the Cleveland Foundation website and click on Grants and Programs, and then you scroll down to apply for a grant in that drop-down menu. On that page, scroll down to the numbers 2 and 3. Pause here. Number 2 on this screen gives you the opportunity to request login credentials from the Cleveland Foundation. If you have never applied for a Cleveland Foundation grant before, this is your first stop. Please request these credentials as soon as possible. When you have credentials, step 3 is where you log into the portal. There are some background questions that are asked of everyone. Please make sure that those are up to date. At that point, you will be able to find the actual application form. Enter your credentials under registered users, and then you will see this homepage. Scroll down to the Cleveland Black Futures Fund and complete the Cleveland Black Futures Fund to assure your application makes it to the review teams. The application is organized into sections. Section 1, about your organization. Section 2, about your work. What is it that you do? Section 3, type of grant, monetary, fellowship, or both. Section 4, use of funds, for monetary grant award applicants only, and this is different from the budget form that all applicants must complete. Section 5, capacity building fellowship. Section 6, demographic data, demographics of your organization, leadership staff, and population that you serve. Information about your income and expenses is also requested through the Cleveland Foundation's budget form. Hints and tips. Answer all questions thoroughly, but answers do not need to be long. Most questions are checkbox, short answer, with a few open-ended questions. Grant writers are available to review your proposal ahead of time. If you have specific questions, sign up for a technical assistant workshop and meet with a grant writer. All applicants that attend a technical assistance session are eligible to sign up for a session with a grant writer. Applicants must hold 501c3 status or be fiscally sponsored by a 501c3 organization. Use all line items in your budget. Here you can see key dates for this round of the Black Futures Fund. Application opens on August 1st. TA workshops will take place between July 26th and August 4th. Grant writing assistance sessions will take place between August 1st and August 31st, and application will close on August 31st. Thank you so much for joining us. Please engage with the resources available for the round, and we look forward to reviewing your application.